Hello everyone, this is Ming from the SMA Product Management team. Today's session is around the Source Manager Special Interest Group. So during the session, if you have any question, please feel free to log your question in the question panels. We will have our SM expert to answer a question online. And later we can also go through those questions during the Q&A session. For today's presentation, the content has been uploaded to the handout section, so please feel free to download if you think it's necessary. Okay. In today's session, since we will share some forward-looking planning or forward-looking roadmap related to the Source Manager, so please understand that there are some confidential information. Disclaimer we need to take care of. And here is today's agenda. So firstly, I want to highlight again the new format of the Source Manager user group compared to the previous Source Manager practitioner forum. Then I will give you some update about the SM support, including the update on the release control product. After that, I will give you some highlights about what's coming next after Source Manager 9.70. That is another new minor release while working in the lab on top of the Source Manager 9.70 branch. And afterwards, I also want to share some long-term roadmap in the Source Manager, and also give you some heads up about the recent highlights in the SMA release, especially around the May release. And also there are some useful and helpful resource related to SMA evolution. So I also shared in today's presentation. So feel free to take a look at offline if you do have some plan to move to the SMA from the SM to SMAX or to the AMX. Later I will clarify a little bit more in details about what is AMX. Okay. So first, it's about the Source Manager user group. So as you know that last year, actually, we do have a similar webinar we set up for our Source Manager install base. At that time, we call it is Source Manager Practitioner Forum. But previously, we do have a different channel for the registration for the Practitioner Forum and the SM release readiness, including SMA, SM release readiness. So, which is not so convenient for a customer to follow up those threads in the same time. Therefore, from this year, we launch a new format. We call it a user group. So for this user group, as you can see, this is a monthly meeting for the SM technical practitioners. So by leveraging this user group, we have a different type of the session we can leverage in this user group channel, like the feature spotlight, have some deep dive of the SM, including the SMA SM service portal capability. And also for the SMA SM every three months, we will have a new release for SMA SM service portal. So we will also leverage this SM user group channel to host the release readiness for the SMA SM and the future SM release readiness as well. And then meanwhile, if you do have enough time, we can also host some open session for the users to ask a question and engage with product experts and peers to answer those questions online. So now you just need to leverage those one single registration. You can get all type of this enablement and corresponding activities in the same time. So that's a key difference compared to the previous SM practitioner forum plus the release readiness registration. So something I want to highlight here is this year we already host multiple SM user group session, but there are two specific sessions I want to highlight here. First one is SM 64-bit transformation session we hosted on the 30th of March. So as I suppose all of you know that last December we released the Service Manager 9.70, which is really a big technical evolution because of the 64 bits. Therefore, the upgrade to the Service Manager 9.70 is a little bit different compared to the previous Service Manager upgrade. And more planning and consideration need to be considered before the actual upgrade. That's the reason we host a dedicated session for this 64-bit transformation to help our customers to understand, in order to meet their specific business needs, how they need to consider and plan, especially from the sizing performance perspective, and to help them to have well-planned upgrade to Service Manager 9.70, no matter it's a full upgrade, including application and binary upgrade, or just a binary upgrade only. So that's a very useful session, and I will highly recommend you in case you do plan to upgrade to 9.70, and to listen to this session if you cannot join the live session. All of this SM user group session, actually we already share the recording in the user group page as well, so you can listen to this recording offline. And another session I want to highlight here is about the SM-MS Teams integration. And this MS Teams integration is a quite hot topic, and we often got customers query about this integration, and they're asking for different use cases to be supported in the integration. So on the 27th of May, actually we already have an enablement session to go through all the details about the integration to be released in this month, or to be more specifically, this content pack will be available in this week or next week. This will be the first content pack supported around SM-MS Teams integration, and we will continue to expand the use cases related to this Teams integration. So in this dedicated integration session, we go through the key use cases to be delivered in the first content pack of this integration, and the corresponding deployment guidance, and the corresponding configuration mapping required in Service Manager side. All of this information have been covered in this webinar. So yeah, in case you do have some plan to launch this integration, that will be a good enablement materials for you to get started with this integration. Okay, that's the two sessions I want to highlight related to Service Manager user group. And here is also some useful link related to the SM and SM service portal. So yeah, like the user group registration, and then the SM learn page to help you to get to the latest product announcement, or the product release update, and also you can post some user discussion from SMS and learn, something like that. So all the link or corresponding link have been shared here. So feel free to take a look at offline if you haven't registered those links yet. Okay, that's a part for the Service Manager user group. And now I want to give you some update about Service Manager support. So before I go to more details about the lifecycle update for the Service Manager version, I want to mention again is a continuous value delivery for the Service Manager from our perspective. So as you can see, we in the Service Manager lifecycle roadmap will still continue to deliver new version of the Service Manager, including customer improvement, customer enhancement request, or some technical evolution or mandates, or those kind of stuff. So last December, we released the Service Manager 9.70, and now the team is working with another new minor version on top of the 9.70. So later, I will also give you some heads up about what's coming next in this future in this release, which will be available around the Q4 of the 2021. So this is different support dates we defined for different Service Manager version. Something I want to mention here is as previous planned for the Service Manager 9.5x, the committed support will end on the 30th of November of 2021. Therefore, we already start to get our customers' request about extended support plus. So in such case, beside the previous extended support plus for both Service Manager 9.4x and the 9.3x, now we also offer the extended support plus option for the Service Manager 9.5x branch. But something I want to mention here is we do have one constraint here is service request catalog SRC support is excluded in this ES Plus option because as we all know that it depends on the Flash, and the Flash has reached end of support last year. So SRC support will not be covered in the ES Plus for Service Manager 9.5x. Okay, this is for the Service Manager side. And another part is about release control. There are multiple reasons for the release control. First, the release control is also based on the Flash, and Adobe already announced the Flash end of support last year, and also our contract with our third party for the visualization capability has reached end of support. Therefore, we need the obsolete release control product from the 31st of May of 2021. So as you can see, the corresponding support date have been updated accordingly across multiple versions of the release control. And as you know that from the Service Manager, I can remember exactly version, maybe from Service Manager 9.62, we already offer the native release control capability inside of the Service Manager. So customer, you as a customer, you don't need to have a dedicated or specific release control Service Manager integration to provide the comprehensive change control management. And you can completely leverage the native release control capability inside the Service Manager to fulfill the same business needs. So therefore, in our help, we also provide guidance about this kind of the migration from release control to the native release control inside of the Service Manager. So yeah, please feel free to go through the detailing on the help of the Service Manager. Okay, that's a two major support update for Service Manager and release control. And now I want to give you some brief introduction about what's coming next after Service Manager 9.70. So please understand we're still in the development phase of the new release. So everything I'm sharing here is not the final version. But just for your reference, about give you some heads up about what you can expect in the short term of the Service Manager. So first one is one big technical evolution, I would say. It's about the Java 11 support. Due to the significant technical change in the Java 11 compared to the Java 8, so as you can imagine, so Java 11 support in the Service Manager is not just a simple certification. The team have done a lot of work to make it feasible, to make the new Service Manager version compatible with Java 11. So we will still continue to support Zulu, Java 11, and Oracle Java. And of course, for Oracle customers, they need to purchase by themselves. But from support metrics perspective, we will continue to make it compatible between SM and Oracle Java. And all the major components of the Service Manager, like the server, web client, mobility, chat, run client, certificate utility will also support Java 11. Something I want to mention here is since WebSphere doesn't support Java 11, so once we claim the Java 11 support, we will drop the WebSphere support from the SM web client. So that's something a little bit specific here. So this one is about Java 11 support, and once we claim the Java 11 support from the new version of the Service Manager, Java 8 will be dropped accordingly. We will not support both Java 11 and 8 in the same branch. The second one is about the Teams integration, as I mentioned in the section of the SM user group. Actually, we will publish the first content pack for the SM Teams integration in this week or next week. So this content pack will support Service Manager 9.66 application as above, but your binary has to be on Service Manager 9.70. That's one of the constraints here. And from the use cases perspective, in the first release of this content pack, we mainly focus on the case collaboration for the instant interaction change, problem, and request. So multiple modules can be supported here. So the typical use cases here is as if we take a major instance as a sample, if we have one major instance opened in the Service Manager side, as a major instance manager or the instance admin, you can trigger Teams collaboration directly from those major instance ticket in the Service Manager side, and then corresponding stakeholder will be involved in that conversation inside of the Teams, and then in the same time, corresponding Teams conversation, including attachment, can be synced back from the Teams to the Service Manager side for the future tracking purpose. So that's a very typical case collaboration use cases leveraged by the Teams integration. And this will be delivered in June of this year. And meanwhile, after that, we will continue to expand the use cases around this SM Teams integration. Another typical use case is about the Teams bot. Actually, Teams bot, the bot itself can do many things, like something like the list of the tasks we listed in the current page just some samples for your reference. Like inside of the Teams channel itself, you can ask the team both to get the incident detail to update some instant information or close incident directly inside of Teams, and there's no need for this specific stakeholder to go log into the service manager to do those activities. That's a very typical Teams fault, and we'll also consider some use cases around the virtual agent, like allows any user to add a Teams code inside Teams, and then corresponding virtual agent built up in the service manager can provide and propose some suggested knowledge article or service offering inside of the Teams, those kind of stuff. So there are a lot of MS Teams use cases will be considered here, and we will adopt a phased approach to deliver this Teams integration case by case. Okay, that's about Teams both. Yeah, another one is about another two actually is about the smart email improvement. The first one is about we support AWS with OAuth 2.0 delegated permissions. So previously, we already support AWS with OAuth 2.0, but at that time we only support application permissions. So in order to provide a more secure protection here, we will start to support delegated permissions type of the AWS OAuth authentication, and we will make these permissions as a default choice, and to make sure the appropriate permissions can be aligned to this smart email integration. So of course, to use this AWS with OAuth 2.0 delegated permissions, you need some additional steps need to be followed here, and all of this have been covered in the link here. So feel free to take a look at offline. And another smart email improvement is about the TLS 1.2, because actually 1.0, TLS 1.0, 1.1 actually has reached end of support. So smart email now we can support TLS 1.2 when connecting to an email server by using either the IMAPs or POP3S protocols. And both of these two smart email improvements are also covered in the previous released Service Manager 9.6.4 patch. So in case you are on the Service Manager 9.6 or 9.5x branch, you can upgrade your binary to the latest Service Manager 9.6.4 patch to get this new capability supported. Okay, that's for the smart email. And another one is about the new authentication type support around the OAuth 2.0. And this new authentication type support required server application web tier change. So, which means you need to have a full upgrade to the latest version of the Service Manager to get this supported. So basically, the user in the IDP will be synced to the Service Manager through the IDM during its first login, and by default, we will give our user the self-service roles, and meanwhile, it can be overridden by the user role setting in the operator template. So this template needs to be manually created by the Service Manager admin, and then it can overwrite the default self-service role given by the out-of-box. And customer, you can also manually map in the service manager operator contact attribute to IDP attribute. In such case, when there is any attribute change in the IDP, it will also be synced to the service manager during this login process. So, this is another new authentication type supported in the new version of the service manager. And another change or improvement is around the scorecard. So I suppose you are aware of that in the Service Manager 9.70, we delivered the first phase of the scorecard. And at that time, in the Service Manager 9.70, we mainly focus on provide in-time and visualize the SM server health information, like server status. You can give an overview of the system scaling structure. You can have current host servlet health in one glance, and it will help you on the cluster scalability. And meanwhile, also provide some license usage snapshot, like overview of applied license information and current license usage snapshot, which will help to do the license audit in the customer side. And in the coming release, we will call it is a scorecard phase 2, where we'll continue to provide additional information, especially related to the user information. So we will, as you can see in current screen, here is another dedicated user information card. It will mainly focus on show those data like device ID distribution, like user login from the different client, like from whether this user is logging from the web tier, Windows client, mobility, or in the service portal, and what are the number of the login users in the past 24 hours. Those kind of stuff will be shown currently in this new user information card. So basically combine the phase 1 and the phase 2 of the scorecard, we can provide a very comprehensive and consolidated information related to the servlet health information, license usage information, and user information currently. Okay, that's all the key highlights I want to introduce in the coming release of the Service Manager. And related to the Service Manager roadmap itself, here we'll also do some update compared to last round of the SMC. As you can see, because some of the items in the previous SM roadmap have been planned and scheduled in the coming release of the Service Manager. Therefore, we do have some changes here, like we added the we do have some plan to improve the existing native SM collaboration. Besides the MS Teams integration itself, we will continue to improve our native solution as well, because we understood some of customers that still leverage this native SM collaboration, no matter for the agent-to-agent use cases or for the end user to the agent use cases. So we will consider to provide more flexibility on this SM collaboration, and also there are some other improvements like allow agent to see the chat history inside of the SM ticket in itself, which is something missing in the previous SM collaboration capability. So, and also there's something new here is about high availability support. So as you may know that previously in Service Manager, we haven't certified any high availability solution. And now we do have plan to certify starting with PostgreSQL and to certify the PostgreSQL high availability. We're going to develop a high availability solution based on the Patroni, and at the same time, we're planning to enhance the high availability support for the service manager background process instance. And this is something highly wanted by our SM install base as well. And another one is about SM SMAX case exchange evolution. So now in the case exchange framework, we do support SM and SMAX case exchange, but in the SMA side, they do have some changes from the security perspective. The previous basic authentication will be dropped. Therefore, in order to align with their security requirement, we may also need to do some adjustment in source manager side, and to make sure the previous SM SMAX case exchange still works in the new security solution offered by this SMAX. So this is do have some changes here compared to the previous SM roadmap we presented in the last SMC. Okay, for this, there's some details slides related to some specific topic like embedded CMS widget. We mentioned the last time in SMC, and the automatic recognition of the devices is also not something planned yet, but is still in our roadmap. We do have some short and long-term plan to support this. And another one is about the DB connection pool. So in the previous Service Manager version, actually one thread will hold one DB connection even when it is idle until the thread is terminated. And therefore, we're considering to offer the DB connection pool, and in this new capability, we're trying to reduce the required DB connections and set up DB connection on demand. So we hope this capability can be applied to all the supported database in Service Manager, and then Circle, Oracle, and PG. And this is something we're still working on, and hopefully it can be available later. And I think we will also consider to provide some option here to provide some switch on, switch off in case customer they don't want to make it open in the Service Manager system for this DB connection pool. Okay, and now the cloud extension. So now we already support AWS and Azure, and also in the SM64-bit transformation session, we also mentioned the sliding guide related to AWS and Azure. So if you are the customers is deployed the SM on the cloud, yeah, you can also refer to that user group session to get more guidance from the product management team. Okay, let's highlight about some update about the Service Manager roadmap compared to the last round of the SMC. And that's all about the Service Manager. Now, I also want to give you some heads up about the recent highlights in the SMA, especially in the 2021 May release. So in the SMAX side, one of the major achievement is about multiple dashboard support. So now dashboard, we provide a new dashboard list panel on the left side of the dashboard page. And as you can see, there are seven out-of-box dashboard provided in the SMAX. And meanwhile, you're allowed to have a dashboard definition and which can also support different levels of access control, like private, group, and public access. And you can create your default dashboard by role, by module, or by group accordingly. So this is one key improvement in the SMA May release around the multiple dashboard. Another key I would say key deliveries in the May release is around AMX. So I suppose you're already aware of that. In the previous SMAX, actually, we already offered the IT asset management capability, like the contract procurement and hardware asset management, and even the software asset management together with the UD capability. So from the May release, actually, we introduced a standalone and consolidated asset management solution. So we call it as AMX, Asset Management X. This is a standalone asset management solution for hardware and software asset management needs. And for the customer, if you previously you are deployed or use the asset manager in production, we also offer some migration paths to help you to migrate from the on-premise asset manager license to this new AMX license. So for this asset management X, actually there's a dedicated license school, so which is separate from the previously SMA license. So in case you just want to migrate your asset management solution from AM to AMX, this is one path here. And please also know that asset management X solution is offered on both SaaS and on-premise. So in case you want to get more detailed information, please feel free to contact your sales rep and to get more guidance around this part. Okay, that's a two major update in the SMA May release. And about the SMA evolution update, actually on the 28th of April, our product management team hosts a customer webinars around evolution to the SMAX, a webinar for the service manager customers. And in that session, we share more customers scenarios, including the professional service offering, in order to help our SM install base moving forward to the SMA. So we also have some recording for those sessions. So in case you didn't join that session online and want to get more detailed information, please feel free to contact us and we can share more details offline. And about SMA evolution, we do have some updated on the available resource published to our install base. So here is some link here, like the evolution flyer, evolution portal, customer case studies, all of this information, including the SMAX on SaaS the 15-day trial link. So all of this information have been shared here. So feel free to take a look at it if you do have some interest around the SMAX or do have some plan of moving forward to the SMAX or SMA. And also for more information, you can always go to the www.microfocus.com SMAX page to get more detailed information. Okay, that's all the key information I want to share with you around the service manager itself and the SMA. Let me check. Okay, in the presentation, we mentioned the team support the version 9.6x. 9.6x here means application. So if your application is on 9.60 to 9.64, you need to upgrade your SM binary to the 9.70. And then with this combination, you can get the SM Teams integration supported. And once the SM Teams integration content pack is available in this week or next week, we will also publish this information and corresponding link in the SM Learn page, and you will get the notification accordingly. Okay, if there's no more question, I will close today's call earlier. And in case you do have some other question, please feel free to email to me offline, and we can have some follow-up accordingly. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.